and we can start.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. Natalie, why don't you and Roz then do your portion, and then when our RA gets here, he can kind of tail in right at the end of that.
Okay, so great. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Natalie Hall, Economic Development Specialist here with SBA North Florida District Office. And we also have...
Roz, you're on mute.
That would be me. And I am Rosalind Bryant, the Lender Relations Specialist for the North Florida District Office.
Okay, great. So what we're going to do is we're going to share the information on SBA programs and services, give you guys an overview. For those of you that have joined us this afternoon for this event and is not really familiar with SBA programs and services, you will now have an opportunity to hear. I do apologize. I can't never get the screen to set up correctly.
Go to view. Start from the beginning. View.
Okay. Everybody see that?
We do.
Okay, great. So me and Rosalind is going to tag team to share key information regarding SBA programs and services. And then we're going to switch back and you guys will hear from our regional administrator and our district director. So again, SBA, we provide support to individuals that's looking to start or grow a small business. And the SBA works to ignite change and spark action so small businesses can confidently start, grow, expand, and recover. So how do we do that? SBA, we have a network of resource partners, 4 resource partners to be exact. This event involves 2 of the resource partners collaboration, the Women's Business Center. You guys are going to hear from Jackie from the Jacksonville Women's Business Center, Christine from the Tampa Bay Women's Business Center. We also have SCORE, which is another SBA resource partner. We're going to hear from Sam, who's going to give you information on how SCORE provides support to individuals that also is looking to start or grow a small business. The Small Business Development Center is an SBA resource partner that provides the same support.
Oh, Natalie, I think you muted yourself by accident.
Unmute yourself, Natalie. Now talk. You're muted.
Okay.
I hear you.
I didn't touch anything, but it's okay. You know what, things happen. It's all right. So I was talking about the VBOC. The VBOC is the Veterans Business Outreach Center. They provide support to our military community. And my slides is doing whatever it wants to do. So let me go back. So these are the 4 SBA resource partners. Today, you will hear directly from 2 of the resource partners, the Women's Business Center and SCORE. So without the 4 resource partners, SBA could not do what we do on a daily basis to help support those individuals that's looking to start or grow a small business, okay? Outside of me being an economic development specialist, I'm also the veterans rep. This slide right here shows some additional support trainings that we provide for our military community, including the spouses. We have a program that's called Boost the Business, which is a 2-day entrepreneurship training that's delivered at military installations in and around the Florida area. And we also have the same program, which is Boost the Business Reboot. It's the same program, but it's generally held in areas that may not have a military installation connected to them. Or if they are, it's generally for individuals that may have transitioned out, that don't have access to the base. So that way those individuals can still get and receive the same trainings. There's another program called Veteran Women Igniting the Spirit of Entrepreneurship, VWISE is for short. That is a great program for a female service member or the female spouse that's interested or that has already started a business. All of this information can be found on a link below, which is sba.gov/veterans. And we also have the Entrepreneurship Bootcamp for Veterans with Disabilities and also a great program, Veteran Institute for Procurement. So we have tons of programs and services for our military community that's available. And we also have the surplus personal property for veteran-owned small business owners. So whether you're a home-based business or you run your business out of a brick and mortar, if you are a veteran, there's an opportunity for you to gain access to some of this surplus property at no cost to you. So to learn more information about that, you can get to sba.gov/veterans to learn more about the surplus personal property for veteran-owned businesses. And that's a great way for someone that's looking to start a business or grow a business, but you have to meet those requirements. So again, going to sba.gov/veterans will get you access to the Boost of Business, the VWise, the Entrepreneurship Bootcamp for Veterans, and the Surplus Property Program. And the SBA has a contracting program for certain certifications. So we have the 8A Business Development Program. We have historically underutilized business zone, which we call Hub Zone, the Women-Owned Small Business Program, and the Service Disabled Veteran-Owned Program. Again, if someone is in business and looking to take their business to the next level, these certifications, the contracting arena is a great way for someone to take their business to the next level. There's also support on how someone can find out how to get those certifications. We do have the website, which is certified.sba.gov for more information, or you can contact us directly. So with the contracting program, like I mentioned, that's a great way for someone to take their business to the next level, expand by selling your product or service to the government. The government, you know, is one of the largest purchaser of goods and services in the world. So if you find out that your business, the product or service that you're selling, that the government is buying it, then that's an opportunity for you. So again, we would love to be able to walk you through that process to give you more information on how you can begin to enter into the contracting arena or take it to the next level, okay? So up next, I'm going to turn it over to Rosalind Bryant, who's going to talk to you guys about financing. Take it away, Roz.
Thank you. And again, thank you for joining the call. So many of you may be looking for funds for your business. So please know that SBA works very closely with our approved lending institutions to provide that assistance to you. So the lending institution actually provides the funds, and the SBA, we provide a guarantee to eliminate some of the risk. So the lender will make one of three decisions. One, to approve the loan itself. Two, to make the loan with SBA's guarantee. Three, or to decline it altogether. So the decision for SBA to become involved with the loans is determined by the lender, not by SBA. The applicant does business with the bank, and the banks does business with us. Next slide. We have several loan programs available to small businesses. Next slide, please. The SBA regular loan program is the most common loan program, including financial help for small businesses. Under that SBA 7A loan program, SBA has 3 exporting programs, which are designed to help develop and expand export activity. Also, we have our 504 loan program. These provide long-term fixed rate financing for major fixed assets such as real estate, heavy machinery and equipment, which promote business growth and job creation. These loans are done through our certified development companies, and they work closely with the lending institutions to provide that financing to you. Our non-7A loans that we have, which are our microloans, these microloans are designed to help entrepreneurs who lack access to capital and need business counseling. So eligible businesses can receive funds to start up and grow with working capital, furniture and fixtures, supplies, and they will receive that access to that free business counseling throughout the life of the loan. So what I gave you is a quick, brief overview of our main programs that we have. If you need more information or detailed information, please visit www.sba.gov. That's www.sba.gov. Next slide. So, building a relationship. This is a piece of information or advice I would like to give you. Build a relationship with your lending institution. So if you haven't already done so, it is suggested that you reach out to your lending institution and start building a relationship with them. You may think just because you've been depositing money in a bank, or you are been a member for a long period of time, that's a banking relationship. No, it's not. Knowing who your business banker is, knowing what is required of you for them to lend money to you, or even knowing if they will lend money to you, that is a start. So it is suggested that you reach out to your banking institution and start building a relationship. So I know a lot of us, like me, I always go through the drive-through, or I'm using the going up to the walk-up teller to use that. You have to go in and you need to build that relationship with that business banker. Know who that is. Let them know that you are a business owner and you may need assistance from them, and then what they need from you in order for them to work with you. So start building a relationship with that lending institution. So not knowing if they will work with you would not be a surprise in a time of need. So with that being said, if you did not have a lender, or you are unable to find a lender to work with you, Lender Match. Lender Match is a free online tool that connects potential businesses to connect businesses with our approved lenders. So what you would need to do, you will go online to www.sba.gov/lender match. When you go there, certain lenders have put a profile in there that would like to receive these type of matches. So you will have to answer certain questions and develop a profile as well. If for some reason you find a match, the lender will reach out to you within 3 to 5 business days to set up an appointment so you could come in and to discuss whether or not they're going to proceed with the deal. Now, with that being said, folks, don't go to this referral tool just to see if you will find a match without being ready. Be ready. Be ready. Make sure you have your business plan in hand, have your financials together, have everything that you would need in order to move forward, because you may do yourself a disservice if you go out there just to see if you'll find a match and you're not ready, because that lender will be ready when they reach out to you for that meeting. Next slide. Disaster happens, so be prepared. So please visit sba.gov/prepare to receive information regarding developing a plan of action. So develop that plan of action so you can be prepared for any disaster that may occur. Next slide. Also, through our disaster assistance loan program, SBA provides low interest, long-term disaster loans to businesses of all sizes, private, non-profit organizations, homeowners, renters to repair, replace underinsured, uninsured, disaster damaged property. Disaster loans are the federal government's primary resource to long-term recovery. Please visit www.sba.gov/disaster for more detailed guidance regarding our disaster loan program. Next slide. So that is all for me. So I thank you. Here you will see the information for our for our district offices, the North and South Florida office. If you're in the North Florida area, you can give us a call at 904-443-1900. For the South Florida office, you see 305-536-5521. I wanted to say, up under those telephone numbers, you see an email address. Now, folks, you know that we all are busy, so calling us, we can pick up the phone and we can provide assistance to you. But that email address that you see there, please try sending an email to us. Make sure you include a detailed email with the questions or concerns that you may have. And that way we can review your email and respond to you in a timely manner with the correct information that you will need, that you can put forth and help you go forward with what you're trying to do. You can also go to our local websites. You see that. You can connect with us on Twitter. You see our handler there. And the SBA.gov, we're also located on Facebook. So again, my name is Rosalind Bryant, and I'll turn it back over to Natalie. Thank you.
Thank you, Roz. So before we move on to SCORE, can I ask, do we have our regional administrator on the call?
Yes, he should be on via phone, and I've released so he can be able to unmute himself.
Okay, great. So before that, you guys just heard a quick overview on SBA programs and services. So right now, I want to introduce you guys to two key individuals for SBA. So first, I want to introduce you to Malcolm Richards, who is the District Director for the North Florida District Office and the Acting District Director for the South Florida District Office. So with that being said, I want to introduce you to Malcolm Richards.
Thank you, Natalie. Good afternoon to everyone. And thank you for being with us today as we celebrate Pride Month. I want to begin by thanking Jackie of the Women's Business Center and Dr. Kerry from Tampa, WBC. And also we have, I believe, Christina Collins. And of course, my staff, Natalie, and both North and South Florida for making this event possible. This month, we commemorate the struggles of the LGBT plus community, their fight for equality and inclusion in society. I think it's a good time to reflect on the trailblazers that made it possible, and the pioneers that came before, that today the LGBT community, their voice can be heard. As I always say, a civil society or a true democracy is one that embodies the rights and equality of all its citizens. In the last few years, SBA has been actively reaching out to the LGBT communities. One of our key initiatives that we tried to connect with the LGBT communities back in 2012, 2013, it was called a major significant event. It was called Many Faces, One Dream. Actually, I was the acting deputy in New York City, and I was tasked actually in New York City was selected as a pilot. And why I mention this, for SBA and for us, it is nothing new. We've been trying to make inroads in the LGBT communities and other underserved communities within our nation. I've been in Florida for over a year, and this is the first time where we have combined forces of both North and South Florida district offices to celebrate Pride Month. And I will continue once I'm the district director to try to bring some meaningful connections to the community. And like everything else, you've heard the great job from what SBA and our resource partners, and you will hear from. And one of my asks, I always ask communities to create awareness and amplify our message within their community. So this is one of my asks. And I think if we work together, we partner, we can work toward economic justice and inclusion. And today with me is my boss, actually the regional administrator, Alan Thomas. Alan was appointed by the White House. He provides oversight of SBA programs, the offices and operations in the southeast region of the United States. He's in charge of 9 states, including the state of Florida. Alan is no stranger to working with diverse communities. He has a wealth of experience in both the private and public arena. He has been a 3-term mayor in Greensville, North Carolina. So he understands and has the experience in working with different communities to ensure that everyone's civil rights are respected and upheld. So I'll turn it over now to Alan so he can say a few words. Again, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Malcolm. I believe Alan is unmuted via telephone.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello. All right. Always fun with technology. I wish I could be there with you in person. And wouldn't have to depend on the Zoom when Zoom works. And I thought I was really good at this Zoom technology, but I guess I've got a lot to learn. But it's so good to be with you guys. Thank you for having me. It's been such a pleasure working with everyone in Florida. I'll be honest with you. I have 8 states across the Southeast U.S., everywhere from Kentucky to Mississippi and the Carolinas and Georgia and Florida. But it always feels like home when I get a chance to dial in with Florida. I'll be honest with you. And it's just such a pleasure. So thank you. But how great is it to be with you here today for Pride Month? And I'm so proud to join you as we talk about the many resources that are available with SBA and our many partners for LGBTQ small business owners. And I'm just excited to be here with you. And I want to thank our North and South Florida district offices for pulling everyone together, our women's business centers, which have joined forces to bring this great event to you. So I encourage you all to pay close attention. If you haven't been on these calls before, you'll see what kind of resources are available to you. So please take full advantage of the free and near free resources that are going to be available to you. They're going to be talked about here today to help for you to start your business and grow your business. This is where we start with creating a level playing field, if you will, by taking these steps to ensure that your businesses have the most support available that the SBA and our resource partners can possibly provide you. And not just for companies that have been here for many years, but those that are just incorporating and just getting started. So today, you'll get to hear from SBA, you'll get to hear from our SCORE executives, which are wonderful retired executives here to offer their great expertise for free, the women's business centers, and many of our other business partners as well. So stay tuned in. And a little bit about my background. Malcolm mentioned about being a 3-term mayor and all that wonderful stuff. What he didn't mention is 2.5 years ago, I was the one looking for a PPP loan. I was the one with 480 employees, I'll call them families, that were looking to me for resources of how, not just to respond to COVID, but how to get through this next chapter and what it's really all about. So I've been there, I've lived it. It's a big reason why I took on this responsibility with SBA, which I absolutely love to work with so many across the country. So it's going to be an exciting call here with you today, very detailed information. Get ready to take notes. And also, I want you to be aware of this as well. It will be discussed today, but I being from North Carolina, I know this very well, and you being from Florida, now is the time to think proactively about the possibilities around hurricanes and storm impacts with your business this year. So that will be discussed today as well. Please take time to make plans for your family and your businesses to make sure that you visit disaster.gov for information on how to prepare and have your data and information so we can get resources to you immediately in case there were any circumstances where you might be impacted, which I have been in my businesses in the past. So ultimately, the best thing you can do for your business is to align yourself with those that want to support you. And there are several LGBTQ chambers in the state, including the Greater Fort Lauderdale LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce, the Pride Chamber of Greater Orlando, the Miami-Dade Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, the Tampa Bay Diversity Chamber, and the Southwest Florida Harmony Chamber of Commerce. These chambers, along with your SBA team and our resource lending partners and other community advocates, are here for you. So I expect to hear back from you guys after this great seminar today. Anything I can personally do as the administrator to help you, please let me know. Please be sure to reach out. Again, my name is Alan Thomas. I'm the Region 4 Administrator with SBA for the Southeast U.S. Feel free, my email is allen.thomas@sba.gov, and it's ALLEN.thomas@sba.gov if I can ever help in any way, and or you go to sba.gov for more information. So going to turn it back over to the program. It is a delight to be here with you today. You guys enjoy it. It's going to be a great time. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Alan. So you guys just heard from our regional administrator and the North and South Florida District Director. So again, thank you for sharing those key words with our participants. And up next, I want to turn the mic over to Sam Harding with SCORE.
Thanks, Natalie. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for letting us be part of this event. It's important to us here at SCORE to support the entire community. I think I'm sharing my screen. Good.
Yes, we see it.
My name is Sam Harding. I have been a SCORE volunteer for about 3 years now. I am currently the vice chair for the local chapter, and I'm here to share a little bit of information, if I can, about SCORE. So what is SCORE? The local SCORE chapter is about 60 volunteers dedicated to helping you, the small business owner, you, the owner, the budding entrepreneur who wants to start a business. We are part of an organization that's about 11,000 strong nationally, but we also work very well with our partners and try to complement our local partners, resource partners here in Jacksonville. We have client education, we have workshops and mentoring. Those are our main service areas, and I'll get to that in my next slides. Our clients really range from the entrepreneur thinking about a business, has an idea and wants to talk to somebody about it, to those already in the planning stages that need a little bit push of finishing their business plan, or maybe some different ideas, to those businesses that are already fully operational and just has a few questions and need to speak with somebody and get a second opinion. But we have a wide range of clients, and we don't judge the business idea. We are there to support the entrepreneur on their journey. Sometimes we have to have a very direct conversation and make sure that you're ready to do this business, to support this business, but we're here to help you. We're here to provide you with the support that you need on your journey. What do we provide? We have guidance, we have coaching, business plan assistance, and we really have access to a lot of different templates and workshops and resources on our website. The local chapter, we continue, there's the business community, the startup, and people wanting to get help in the Jacksonville area is growing. Last year we grew again. We continue to have more opportunities as a mentor. Our workshops are up to 147 last year. This year we're going to do even more. We had about 4,300 folks attend local webinars and workshops. Most of our workshops last year were virtual. We're going to try and do some more in-person and hybrid this year. And one of the things we're really most proud, or one of the things that we're really proud of, is in 2021, the local chapter helped 227 new businesses start, and a creation of about 812 jobs. As I mentioned, a lot of our workshops are done virtual right now. We're planning on going back into in-person and hybrid workshops. In fact, we just kicked off one of our most popular workshop series that's Achieve Your Business Dreams, and that's held at the Jax Chamber in partnership with the Jacksonville Women's Business Center. If you're looking at building out a business plan, you want to know what it takes to build a business plan, you've got a business idea and you want a workshop series to help you think through that, it's a fantastic one to take advantage of. We offer it quarterly. The next one starts in August 2nd. How do you get involved? How do you get a hold of SCORE? It's very simple. Go to jacksonville.score.org. From that, you can start with at the very top, you can see that there's a find a mentor, take a workshop, and browse a library. If you're looking for someone to talk to, looking for a mentor, click on that find a mentor. You can take a couple of different paths. You can research the mentors yourself, and all of our mentors have their profiles on the website, and you can see what kind of question you have and look at them and see well, this mentor has the skills and experience that match me, or you can just ask us to match you. We have a team of volunteers in the background that when someone asks for a mentor, we know what our skills of our mentors are, and we match them with the question that's coming in. Try to be as thorough in the question that you have when you ask it on our website, and we'll assign you, or we'll get you matched up with someone. Workshops are big for us. A lot of folks attend our workshops. This year, we have a district-wide initiative to where all of our chapters in the Northeast Florida or Northeast and Central Florida chapter, we are offering everybody's workshops to each other. So our library of workshops, or our list of workshops that are on our website, has grown tremendously, and it's been well attended by folks in Jacksonville. So we have a much greater list of workshops on our website. So if you're looking for some education, you have a question, you got something about business plan, you got something about finance, you got something about marketing, go out there and look and see if there's a workshop that you can have. There a lot of them are put on by local businesses that want to give back. A lot of them are put on by the mentors that have expertise in those areas. So it's a great way to learn things about your business, or things that you need to know for your business. And then finally, browsing in the library, there are national workshops, there are national webinars, there are templates, there are blogs, there are lots of different resources from the national and local SCORE chapters that you can get information. If you're just researching some information, and you want to get a little bit more detail for your business, that's a great way to get it. But that's what I have to share with you today on SCORE. I think I am turning it back to Althea.
Hi, thank you, Sam. So there you have it. I mentioned during our overview that you will hear directly from one of the resource partners, which was Jacksonville SCORE. Depending upon where you're located, if Jacksonville is not the area that you're located in here in the Florida area, please get to our website so you can locate a chapter that's near you. You can easily get to SBA.gov on our national website, plug in your zip, and you will see those resource partners within your territory. So again, thank you, Sam. So up next, I want to turn it over to Althea Harris, the Deputy District Director with SBA South Florida District Office.
Thank you, Natalie. Wow, it's so nice to see you, friend. Hi, Jackie and Christina. Friends, we have come to the time in our program where you're going to hear from the marvelous Women's Business Center program that SBA sponsors. And we have one from North Florida, the Jacksonville Women's Business Center, and one from South Florida, the Tampa Women's Business Center. So with that, let me introduce, let's see, who's going first?
We'll have
Jackie.
Christina. Okay. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Jackie. Welcome, ladies.
All right, I'll kick it off. I'm from the North, so serving North Florida. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center is funded cooperatively through the U.S. Small Business Administration. So for those of you who might be a little unfamiliar of how the SBA serves, there's 4 core pillars, and the Women's Business Center is one of those 4 pillars. So we have a network of over 140 centers around the country, and just last month, we kicked off our 50th state of Alaska, having presence in all 50 states for our women's business centers. And we actually have 4 on the island of Puerto Rico as well. So we know that in the last couple of years, we've been definitely growing. We'll talk a little bit about how we have grown and what the impact we've seen it is. But for Jacksonville and North Florida, we serve the 7-county region surrounding Jacksonville, Florida. We know because of the pandemic and what we've done through technology that we've served very well the Panhandle, which does not have a women's business center. The closest to us is going to be in Melbourne. And then, like mentioned, we've got Tampa here today, and then South Florida. So lots of economic development that happens in our state. And we're here to kind of navigate those resources for not only women business owners, but all small business owners. In Jacksonville, every women's business center is structured to be able to do the project their own way and serve the market that they have. So we in North Florida have an entrepreneur certificate program where actually if you take 4 out of the 5 core programs with us, you receive your certificate with our center, kind of putting you next level, step above some of the other small business owners. And we recognize those who have completed that work with a certificate and a lapel pin at a graduation ceremony once a year. So that's kind of an exciting something that our business owners can work towards in terms of success. We also have the facilitator rights to be able to host Athena PowerLink. That is a program through Athena International that our Women's Business Center has had rights for over 15 years to be able to conduct very in-depth mentoring. We actually, through the PowerLink program, we have women business owners who apply to go through a year-long mentorship with a selected panel of advisors who come to our Women's Business Center and want to give back. So that's one way that we actually help grow and through mentorship as well. So just a little snippet of what we do. And I'm going to toss it over to Christina, share a little bit about what she does in Tampa.
Hey, everyone.
Also, I don't know if she'll mention this, so I'm going to shameless plug this, but Tampa won the Women's Business Center statewide award for our networks. We're very proud of their success and we like to collaborate with them all the time. So Christina.
All right, thank you so much, Jackie. I'm Christina Collins here. I'm at the program assistant here at the Tampa Bay Women's Business Center. And the Tampa Bay Women's Business Center is the only WBC here on the west coast of Florida. So we actually can only pull from the 6 surrounding counties that help us around here, which would be the Hillsborough County, Hernando, Pasco, Polk, Pinellas, and Manatee. And we just started expanding our services here since we're growing our project here in the Tampa Bay area. And what we do mainly here is a lot of coaching services with one-on-one, and we do that with our coaching our coaching program. And our coaches, we have 7 here that we work with that range from marketing to e-commerce to funding to helping mostly a lot of startup business clients here. We do help clients that have been in business for a while as well, like the SCORE does. We have been helping startups and businesses that have been a while that need help expanding and growing in the market. And Jackie hit a lot of the WBC things that we do around the US, and I'm happy to be here. This is my first webinar, so I apologize for any inconsistencies that I may have, but we've been doing a great job, and we also are funded obviously by the Small Business Administration. And I would like to say we do help all clients. We help men. I have actually my first man client here for the first time since I've been here. So I'm really excited to see a new direction here as well. So thank you very much for having me on this call. I'm happy to be part of the Pride Month event.
Oh, that's awesome. So what you highlighted there in the last little seconds, Christina, is that though it's called the Women's Business Center program at SBA, men are welcome. Is that right?
Everybody is.
Everyone's welcome. That's right. SBA is in the marketplace for anyone and everyone who wants to start or grow their small business, who wants to embark on achieving the American dream of business ownership. So thank you, ladies, for what you're doing throughout the state. The first question I would like to ask you is, we know at the SBA that women remain among the fastest growing segment of business owners in America. Are you seeing any trends among your clients that they're maybe starting certain kinds of businesses and not others? Tell us what kind of trends you might be seeing with women business ownership.
Sure. I'll start with saying that, definitely in the beginning of the pandemic was, it was eye-opening to say, where a lot of people were slowing down or readjusting, pivoting, whatever kind of word, where they were going, what they were doing. We were in all, for lack of a better term, but drinking from the water hose. We were really inundated with so many more clients and so many more people that were looking for entrepreneurship as a new avenue and a new revenue stream. And I would say one of the biggest trends was that we saw a lot of, and you can imagine, a lot of teachers and a lot of healthcare workers that were leaving their sector, leaving their industry, but taking the traits and skills that they had with them to perhaps open up a different business of their own. For instance, we had nurses leaving, but then perhaps they were going into a consulting side of, healthcare. We've had people, looking at how can they use, like I mentioned, like how can they use those traits that they have as an individual, as a person, and what they brought to the table, and bring that maybe even sometimes out of their industry and really kind of spark something different. So it's been an exciting kind of journey. But it's also, I think we're still in this little bubble where it's only going to keep growing. I think, one of the things too, we as women's business centers get, we're like the best kept secret. I've heard, people say that you can walk past a women's business center 100 times and never see the sign. They don't even know where we're located, right? So, and that goes, I think for all the SBA resource partners. And what's happened in the last 2.5 years was that the resources were finally getting promoted to being a resource and having people know that we were out there and available and accessible, and there was people willing to help you advance your business. So I think that has shed a little light on what we're going to be able to do in the future, and it's going to keep us being one of the top growing sectors.
Yeah, if I may add before you jump in, Christine, and you know what, Sam? Why don't you join the conversation too, and tell us, after I say this next little bit, you can join the conversation too. You're an SBA resource partner. It might be interesting to hear the SCORE dimension. But yeah, the thing about COVID is it put SBA front and center, right? Because we were the distributors of all the CARES Act money, PPP, Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, the COVID Idle grant, the COVID Idle Supplement Grant, the COVID Idle Loan. So we were very popular for the last couple of years, and it gave us a real opportunity to share all of our resource partners with the public so that hopefully they maybe got a COVID Idle loan, but they didn't squander it because they had partnered up with a SCORE mentor or someone from the WBC or from the Small Business Development Center program or from the Veteran Business Opportunity Center to really maximize those dollars to not only help them get through the pandemic, but adjust, make what I like your word, adjust, and hopefully are thriving now. So yes, I'm glad to know that you have seen that influx of folks who are looking to you for help. Christina, is there anything that you noticed since COVID, or, well, you're relatively new at the center, right?
I'm relatively new to the center, and I've been in Florida 2 years. So I got to move here in the middle of the craziness of the summer of 2020. But I've been able to adapt and pivot, as I guess a lot of people have during this time. And I would say the biggest thing I've been seeing with the clients since I've been here early spring was a lot of people are shifting to this remote work, which you're seeing obviously in the corporate world as well. And what I've been hearing is that they've been wanting to make a schedule for themselves because they're essentially, a lot of these women are juggling many things, be it their home life, their daily work. They're opening these side gigs. Is a lot of the jobs that we've been seeing here at the Tampa Bay Women's Business Center, and just the daily grind of life. And the remote working has given these people a somewhat of a new lease on life. A lot of retailers were, working brick and mortar and now been able to essentially pivot their business to being online. And it showed that they can, run this business or side business either from a brick and mortar or through an e-commerce type of platform, which has been one trend that I've seen a lot with a lot of the businesses that I've been working with. And this provides them some stability to work their own hours, provide an income for their family, plus their regular daily work life that they're trying to do. So a lot, I would say, is a lot of side gigs and remote work. It's what's been the trend that I've been seeing here, which seems to be something that's going even past this and I use loosely pandemic era.
Right. So even as we in Florida, I think our experience in Florida has been a little different from other states across the union, in as much as our economy has been largely open throughout the pandemic. And so when you talk about remote work now, right, where that used to be this crazy notion and no one wanted to do it, right, or maybe make the investment, everyone has largely shifted to online. And I guess the question is, how do we get people back into the brick and mortar. Sam, have you heard, because I know I've heard a lot from small businesses about how they just can't find employees. And, you know, the beauty of working from home is, you know, it has great perks. It does have its downsides, right? So some people really just can't work from home and need to go somewhere, right? But have you heard anything from your clients, Sam, about the trends that are happening in the workplace, whether it's they can't find employees or any other trends you're hearing?
A lot of clients are struggling with the I can't find help. I mean, I can offer more services, I can do more business, but I can't find the folks. And you hear the news of Northeast Florida, and I'm in St. Johns County, so people are just flooding into St. Johns County. They're like, all these people are moving here. How come I can't hire anybody? It's because they're all remote workers and they don't need another job, or if they are going to do something, going to do something on their own. But yeah, a lot of our clients are really struggling with the finding employees, and it really turns to, you know, it's almost another marketing event nowadays for you, not just to go out and go on the regular job sites, but you got to market for your employees now, and you've got to find ways of connecting with folks that you can hire.
Well, and you know, it's interesting to me, this conundrum that we're in, right? So a lot of times, okay, so I've been at SBA. I started my 23rd year in January. You know, I work at SBA because I love it. I love working with entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurs. I love my colleagues. I'm married to an entrepreneur. So I really relate to what happens out there with entrepreneurs and small business owners. And, you know, for the last 2 decades, I've been saying, hey, if you can't find a job, create your own job. And now that pendulum has swung all the way to the other end, where a lot of people have taken on this idea based on the things that you said, Jackie, the things you've said, Christina, where they have taken their skills and moved them into an entrepreneurial endeavor. And yet what we know is that entrepreneurs can't do everything on their own. While we know that 32.5 million small businesses exist in America, okay, 32.5 million, about 75% of them are solo in their businesses. And so that's obviously okay, but that other 25% of 32.5 million, I'm afraid to tell you, I can't do that math very quickly in my own head. Those people need employees, and the 32.5 million number is a new number, right? That includes this expansion of new startups. So it's a very interesting catch-22 that we find ourselves in as a nation, and I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. It'll be very interesting to watch that in the coming years and months. So anyway, what are some of the obstacles and opportunities you all are seeing in the marketplace and the economy, despite kind of our first part of this conversation? What opportunities do you see or are hearing from maybe your clients that they're trying to seize? And then we talked about that big obstacle about employees, but are there other ones? Oops.
So I would say in terms of opportunities, and something that I think we've all kind of touched on a little bit was just, and the reason we're here today, you know, we're collaborating statewide. We're pulling a couple different centers together, North and South Florida, and we're trying to build on the economy and build on an experience. And I think it's the opportunities they are going to be capitalizing on these, you know, working more regionally, looking at things and how can you grow, you know, something mentioned with Christina was like that the e-commerce is now booming and such. So if people can get away from this mindset of, you know, my service and product is only going to be good for my neighborhood and my group of people, which I communicate with and, you know, live in, you can actually go across state lines, borders, and so on. And I think that's where, you know, definitely us, you know, at our Women's Business Center and at the Chamber of Commerce up here in Jacksonville, like we're working towards a more digital platform and a digital experience for entrepreneurs. And what does that mean in terms of mentorship, providing feedback? You know, something that we learned from, and we knew this would happen eventually, was what happens when all of a sudden your resource partners are no longer accessible. And this is what happened in the beginning of the pandemic. You know, we went probably 6 months too long of not being accessible to business owners. And that was just because contingency was never put in place of what would happen in an experience in a pandemic like this. And I think there's a lot to keep learning from that of, you know, what more can we do? How can we grow our networks? And how can you leverage relationships that even may be past relationships, now those people are somewhere else, and how to grow and be more connected. I see a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, so what I heard you say were the opportunities are in collaboration, they're in e-commerce, and what I heard sort of tangentially or in a nuanced way was this idea of finding new markets through exporting, right?
Yeah.
So where you used to sell here in your domestic market or just here in your little old neighborhood, you can now have access to the world, depending on what it is you're selling. And then particularly if services, right? Some services can be delivered online, and for sure, where maybe the market has dried up in a given area domestically, maybe there's a boom in another part of the world where you can export. And one of the things the federal government is very keen on is exporters. Sam or Christina, do either of you have any experience in the export arena, or you want to share some opportunities or obstacles that are out there that you're seeing?
I'll go ahead. In terms of like the exporting, we've had a couple clients that actually buy bulk products from Chinese manufacturers, and we have seen issues obviously with supply chain, how these are affecting their business negatively because they actually don't have the product to sell. And a lot of these are e-commerce. So even they have the ability to be, you know, a local boutique, but have the ability to sell nationally via the internet, they don't have the product line to ship. So that's been a fairly large negative thing, and not just for local people, it's just everywhere. So supply chain management has been, you know, a serious issue for some of my clients here, and I'm sure for others here in Florida and around the US, but it does provide an opportunity for people to think creatively and outside of the box to figure out a way to circumvent these challenges that are basically out of their hands. So I would hope some of my clients will get to that point to, you know, get past the thought of I have a supply chain problem and think outside the box to make that better. And I'm sure we're all trying to figure out a way to do this. But I say one opportunity or one issue I also see is price of entry can be somewhat expensive for new businesses to start. The barriers of entry can be difficult for people that are trying to start a new business in an economy of the one we have like today.
Yeah, I was just, I did an event on Saturday where there's this organization out there called Right to Start. And that's one of the advocacy points that they make about the barriers to entry being those high costs. Sam, what are you hearing about in terms of opportunities and obstacles?
Well, obviously the supply chain, things that have already been mentioned, these things are really struggles for the small business owners, but you know, things are moving fast. Technology is changing fast. You've got to be nimble, and you've got to be able to change directions as quickly. There are opportunities out there, but one of the things that we always want to stress is, even though, you know, we're asking people to come talk to us and we'll help you, even some of the largest retailers in the world, they have advisors that they call on. They have people that they go to, and when they need a specific problem, they'll hire somebody to help them. You have all of these resources right here. You got the Women's Business Centers, you got the SBA, you got SCORE, you've got all of these people that can help you. Don't try to do it on your own. Try to, you know, reach out and ask for help, and you can get the help that you want.
Yeah, there's an ancient text that advises that in the multitude of counselors, there's safety, right? So yeah, reach out. This is why we're here. You know, you have, listen, and it's not that you have to exclusively work with the WBC, right? Even we, as the SBA, we work collaboratively with the Women's Business Center. We work collaboratively with SCORE. That's what you're watching right here today. To really I'm asking questions, right? You could easily be me, a small business owner could easily be me asking these kinds of questions and others of your resource partners. And you could ask Jackie and then have another appointment with Sam and ask the same questions to get that different perspective. And Christina, I liked what you said about supply chain is the obstacle, but it's also the opportunity. That's what I heard you say.
Mm-hmm.
That if you can figure out this supply chain challenge, wow, right? And isn't that what entrepreneurs do? They find gaps in the marketplace, they fit into it and deliver a solution. So it's interesting that the supply chain is both an obstacle, but yet an opportunity, right? And I like what you said too, Sam, about being nimble, right? Not so hardwired to the solution you always had, because COVID blew up everything, right? And yet for those people who were nimble, who were flexible, who were connected to resources and other counselors like SCORE, like the SBDC, like the Women's Business Centers, they had a better chance of surviving the pandemic. So thinking about survivors, okay, would love it if you all could share maybe one or two success stories of folks maybe that you worked with through the pandemic. It doesn't have to be about the pandemic. That really, the person came in, they had this challenge or issue, they worked through it with you, and now they're doing success. What does that look like? Whoever wants to go first, whoever has, someone who springs to mind.
I have one. I actually didn't work with her personally, but I've heard her story a few times and I actually kind of enjoy it. So we had a client here during the pandemic. Obviously that changed everyone's world. So this woman she bakes cookies. She makes 5-inch round size cookies, and she was selling these prior to COVID in farmers markets. And of course, once the world shut down, as did the farmers markets, she was able to pivot her business through the help of a WBC coach here in Tampa Bay, and was able to receive a PP loan during this time to expand her business, and was able to sell her cookies through the internet. She now ships her cookies nationally. Which is crazy to think you're selling food over the internet, but was able to get this PP loan and grow substantially through the internet selling cookies. And she was even chosen to be a vendor for the Tampa Bay Super Bowl 55 as one of the vendors to give out her cookies essentially to the frontline workers that were attending the Super Bowl, I guess about a year ago or so. So that was one of the cool stories, that she was able to, again, I keep using that word, pivot, to change from selling in these farm markets, which I'm sure she's now eventually back to because the world is slightly opened up more, but to sell cookies online. So it just goes to show that you don't have to necessarily sell retail that's non-perishable to consumers around the country.
Wow, what a great story. Because I think for me, I don't really buy food online, but that, lots of people do, and and it's really neat to think about how small of a business she must have been, right? To just be at farmers markets, to coming to the Women's Business Center. I guess she got some help with applying for that loan, and maybe got some advice as well. And now she's in front of the Super Bowl.
Just goes to show.
What a great, and when you think about it, what a great convergence, right? Of opportunity. So COVID drove her online. Most of us don't think about COVID as being good. Understandable, right? Really, totally understandable. But COVID was such a force for change, right? It was such a disruptor. She may have never even considered going online. Just would have been happy to go to the farmer's market maybe regularly. And isn't that marvelous, the way so many entrepreneurs start out with a side hustle and then it becomes their main thing, and all kinds of other opportunities are created. Jobs are created. I'm sure, maybe she's not just baking alone. Maybe she's now has a commercial kitchen, or she's in an incubator that allow, a community kitchen, and that's now growing because she's growing. So what a great ripple effect. Thank you for sharing that story.
Absolutely.
Christina. Jackie or Sam, anybody spring to mind?
Yeah, I've got a couple in mind, and I wonder if it's because it's like around lunchtime, but I'm thinking food. Because we have a couple similar stories. I'm trying to think of which one I want to tell though. So I'll tell the one about a toffee company called Amelia Toffee. So it's located out of a little north of here of Jacksonville, but in Amelia Island. And the woman business owner who started the company started it with a very small batch of toffee. And again, it was that mindset of, I'm selling this to my neighbors, I'm selling this to local, very small group of people in her network. And she went through one of the programs here within our venture services division called Jack's Bridges. And what she learned and what she was challenged to do during that time was to really believe in $1 million business plan, where she was like, I'm selling toffee. And I could imagine the cookie lady as well. It's like, this is not $1 million business. This is very something small and, just dear to my heart, but I want to make sure I do it legal, make sure I do it right. So she was, started her business, and, long story kind of short, she actually had gotten into the majority of airports across the country. So she is actually one of those small batch network kind of toffees that is in all of those airports that you can find. And what she learned through the process was she was $1 million business. She has now since sold the business. And from her background and what she's really who she is as a person is somebody who likes to educate and give back. And so she's actually taken the recipe and she sold it to a different group that went through the same program. And it's a group that helps women who are struggling with domestic violence, or and even trafficking. Trafficking, human sex trafficking. So it's the company called Rethreaded, and she sold the business to this company. She sold the recipe, and now the women who are going through the recovery process are the ones who are baking the toffee, and they are the ones batching it. It's still under the brand name of Amelia Toffee, but she has worked in, what I like about that is that she navigated resources and navigated relationships. So she knew somebody else who had the same entrepreneurial drive and the same mission to kind of grow the business. And she was able to find a like-minded person to buy it. And then fun kind of full circle here. So now that she's sold the business and she's been very successful, the Melbourne Women's Business Center, would we venture, is actually using her to help a different small batch business owner with caramels, and she's mentoring now, right? So this just goes back to that whole connection of how we as the Women's Business Center Network, we even statewide, I love the state of Florida and how we collaborate, and we're using our network and our business owners to be able to, advance them, but then also calling on them when they've gone to that, kind of extreme level of success and saying, you can now give back and mentor somebody else. So that's been exciting for us.
What a marvelous story. You see how I could be at SBA for 23 years, friends? This is the exciting stuff that happens. And one of the things I really want to capitalize on, I see Natalie, I see you there, but my goodness, what a difference it made in that woman's life to hear someone say, you have $1 million business, and she believed it. And look how many lives she's changing and changed. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Sam, the Sandman has come and is going to pull me off the stage. And so I want to thank you all so much for that invigorating conversation we had. Jackie, Sam, Christina, thank you so much. Natalie, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, everyone. That was a great discussion. Thank you, Christina, Jackie again, and Avia, as well as Sam. So now we're come to the part where we're going to hear from two local small business owners. And I'm going to turn it over to Sam, who's going to moderate this discussion. So Sam, the mic is yours.
Thanks, Natalie. Welcome, Celicia. I'm saying that right?
That's right, Celicia.
Celicia and Earl. Thank you very much for joining on this and participating in this panel. Just have a few questions for you, but Celicia, if you could go first and tell us a little bit about your business and what problems that your business is solving.
Well, I am a notary, and when you're a notary in Florida, you're also a wedding officiant. So I started at the end of 2017 as a notary, and just made a simple Facebook post that I got my notary commission in Florida, and it was like a machine gun going off. Oh, we need a notary. Oh, we got married by a notary. Oh, my son's getting married. Will you marry my son? And it was like, oh man, this is a thing. I didn't know it was a thing. So I found out that it was a thing. I am a gay woman, and so I wanted to, always market to, sell to what you know. So I had to come up with rainbow. And the notary and nuptials, my mother was an English teacher. I liked the alliteration. So Rainbow Notary and Nuptials was born. And I've just continued to expand, because it does say network. One day I was in church and Beth says, oh, hey, if you ever get double booked, I used to do a ton of weddings when I lived in South Florida. And then another Beth was there, just happened to be a Beth and Beth. And she said, oh, I'm a notary too. And I said, I'll just create an entire network and we'll marry everyone under the rainbow. And, that was 4 years ago, and it has happened. And I have created a network of like-minded folks that, serve everyone under the rainbow. And last year, some local friends own a cafe downtown right across from the courthouse. And so I've got a little chapel in there called the Rainbow Wedding Chapel. It's because they do not marry people at the Duval County Courthouse, and it's okay by me because of marriage equality. And so I have a little chapel downtown, and we marry folks that get their license.
Fantastic. What a perfect example of what we've been talking about here, taking advantage of something that has popped up and growing a business from one simple action. And that's fantastic. Earl, how about yourself?
Well, first, I'd like to say that Amelia Toffee, and I know the young lady that owns that, she was actually in my Jax Bridges cohort. We were in a cohort together. And funny story, they actually make it right literally half a block from where I'm sitting. So I think that's pretty awesome. But I'm Earl Kelly. I'm with EK3 Technologies here in Jacksonville. We handle IT problems for small business. So anything from we need connectivity or telephones, all the way through to I can't use my Outlook or Excel, or I need some kind of, I have a question about a copier or security system in general. So if it touches IT, there's so many small businesses out there that really have no idea what they're paying when it comes to phones and et cetera. And we can handle that. And I tell people all the time, there's some poor accounting person out there who has no idea what all these bills are for. And we take that and we handle it for small businesses.
That's great. There is a huge need for that service in small businesses. We see it all the time where we get questions of where can I find help to do X, Y, and Z. And technology is one thing that our small business owners need to stay on top of and get help where they can.
Correct. I tell people all the time, if you are starting a business and you're sending me an email from Gmail, I'm not going to reply.
Understood. That's a good point. It's your business that should be at the end of your name should be on that email.
Correct.
That's right. Well, let's continue on with you, Earl, and let's talk a little bit about, we've been talking about the resources in this area and what you can really take advantage of and reaching out to someone for help. How do you leverage your business support system, and where do you go?
Well, I have a great support system from some of the friends that I know, and like I said earlier in the webinar, I have friends down in Tampa. I have friends here in Jacksonville. I have some business owners down in Tampa that are doing very well, from the Bucks and the Lightning doing fantastic. And so I really reach out to them and try to find some answers and some questions that I might have. But I've also reached out locally. So I was with the Jax Bridges program. Carlton Robinson handles that here in Jacksonville, as well as the the Moran Institute here in Jacksonville. I also attended that, and that was very helpful. So I think being a business owner, it's important to kind of especially here in Jacksonville, it's important to know who your friends are and understand who can help you do what. And so leaning on those people as well as the resources that are available, I think it can help any entrepreneur.
Fantastic. So Alicia, how have you leveraged your business support system?
Well, the every solution comes with its own set of problems. You know, that's one of the things that people may or may not realize. And, you know, if somebody gave you $1 million, it's like, okay, that's swell, but where would I put it? Or how would I carry it? Or what would I do with it? Or do I get it in hundreds or 20s? Or do I put it in the bank? I mean, every solution comes with its own set of problems. And you have to, and I think that's one of the things that people don't realize and don't think about. So even though that you get there, what does there look like? And I think one of the other things is that people do not realize all of the resources that are there to help you. I think that's one of the great downfalls, that people don't realize that there is a solution and that there is help out there. There is the SCORE. There, you know, I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I have watched those SCORE webinars that you guys put out for Google My Business and how to be found on Google, and you know, all of the whole myriad of Google products and all of the web. I mean, I watch them and watch them and watch them, and you know, no one can master Google. Let me just tell you that. I'll just say that there is no master of Google, but you know, anytime that you can hone your business so that you can be found and you know, make those business connections. That was something that someone was talking about at the very beginning of this webinar, building authentic relationships, because that is the bottom line. I mean, you know, do you want to build your world on sand, or do you want to build your world on stone? And we've heard that from Bible stories when we were little kids. And it's the same in business, building authentic, genuine relationships with the banker, with the baker, with the candlestick maker. And that's what gets you solutions. You know, I'm sort of a master connector of people. I mean, you know, Celicia, I need a plumber. I mean, I've got plumbers all over the country. I mean, you should see my phone. I've got like 6,000 contacts in my phone. Okay. You know, I have bankers here. I have notaries there. I have people that do tree work. I have people, you know, ask me what you need for wherever. And I've made a connection with someone. And that's, you know, that's what's the most important thing is because, and here's the other part, I can't do it alone. That's the other part that people need to realize. I cannot do this alone. As great as Celicia is, I can't do it by myself. I don't know everything and I can't do everything and I don't have all the answers, but it's like a card catalog in the library. When we were little, you know, back in the old days, library, you don't need to read every book and you don't need to know every book. You need to know where to find the book that will give you the right answers. So, you know, the world is your card catalog, and go and find that solution because it is there and it's there for you.
I just want to follow up with what Celicia said, and she's absolutely right. And it's funny because I'm exactly the same way, my friend. Well, I utilize the chamber a lot, and specifically for networking. But she's absolutely right. As a small business owner, you've got to know where am I going to go if I have a question, if I need a doctor, a lawyer, anyone. You really have to reach out. And it was mentioned earlier, but I think I'll reiterate that and that includes business relationships. And it's so easy nowadays to hide yourself from business relationships. We talked about the banker, and one of the things I did when I started in 2010 was I made it a point to go to Chase Bank, one of the biggest banks in the world. And I said, I'm going to go to the bank every day, and I'm going to walk inside, and I'm going to drop off my deposit. And when I had an incident at the bank about a year ago, the branch manager knew who I was, knew that I come there every day. And, you know, I wasn't just a number. And they were like, and he was fantastic. He was actually able to help me. And he was like, listen, we'll get this fixed. He actually called me on the phone, which is something that, you know, you don't see a lot anymore. And I think that's important. In 2022, it's really easy to become anonymous. And I don't want to be anonymous as a small business owner. I want to be, I want you to know who I am. I want you to know what I do. And I want you to know that I can help you if you have any questions. And I think all of my friends and all of my business support network is exactly the same.
I think it's fantastic. One of the things that's common between both of you is that you both not only seek out support from your network, but you also give support to your local network. And it's important that we all help each other out and we all help each other grow in these times. And as business changes, as we need to be more nimble, as we keep going, we can help each other. Speaking of change and speaking of needing to be nimble, what has COVID done to your business, and has it made you move in another direction? Alicia?
Well, in 2020, January 1st of 2020, the Florida legislature had everything in place for remote online notary. And I didn't pay much attention to it. It's like, oh, you know, I'm more of a personable person. And then along comes March of 2020. And guess what? Here comes COVID. So the legislation was in place, and remote online notary is one of my biggest sources of income, because you can notarize something for someone who's sitting across the table from you or someone who's sitting on the other side of the world. My feet have to be in Florida, but you could be in Taiwan, Thailand, or Tampa. And that's been a really great thing to be able to notarize. About 90%. Obviously, I can't do a vehicle identification, and I can't marry you. I can't marry you remotely, but I can do most of the regular notary things that you need. Power of attorney, apostille work, just simple, spousal permission, to take money out of your Roth IRA or whatever. You have to always put that spousal form. I market to a lot of expats around the world. My sister actually lives in Mexico, in a little village in Ajijic, down Lakeside, Lake Chapala. So I market directly to the expats there, and expats in Portugal, expats, because people still have American business relationships and that they need to take care of. The only other possible choice for them is to go to the consulate. And right now, I think the closest appointment you can get right now is August. Because of COVID, everything's been so backed up. So that's, remote online notary has been a great thing. I think 38 states have it now, and it is a thing. It's a thing, and it's really very cool.
That's amazing. From something that you weren't paying attention to being your number one source of income. That's it's an amazing transition there. Earl, what do you think? How has COVID caused you to move your business, or has it?
Well, if I don't learn anything else today, I just learned that you can do online notary.
Yeah.
I needed that yesterday. It's very great to know. Wow. So yeah, we're in IT. So there was a time in March of 2020, and I can remember the week that we were nonstop for that entire week, and just getting everyone, all of our businesses, we had to do it too, but in the meantime, we had to get all of our businesses working remotely, and we had to do it then, right? There was no, let's transition into this. And so that was a little rough for us, but as a business, we actually gained ground over COVID. Once again, it was a bad thing, but for our business, it was a good thing. And I think now that we're looking at business owners who are looking at that and saying, okay, we're coming back to the office now, but we're going to have more of a hybrid environment. We're going to work some from the house, some from the office, and just, be prepared and making part of that as their disaster recovery plan. There was a time that pandemic was not in anyone's disaster recovery plan, and here in Florida, the only thing in your disaster recovery plan was hurricanes, right? And I actually, it's the things that you think about that you suffer personally. So like in my disaster recovery plan, we have fire, because I think that's the most common, and it's one that happened to me, right? Business owners don't really think about that. They think about hurricanes, they think about flooding, and they now we got to think about pandemics and not being able to go into the office. But on the other side of COVID now, we're having, and it was mentioned earlier, we're having supply chain issues with technology and some of our recommended solutions. But what we've actually figured out is that now we're more of an agent of, okay, let's go see what is available. Let's go see what we can find that meets your needs, and what brands are good, what brands are bad, because there's so many available that are online that you really need to see. You really need someone in your corner that's saying, okay, this is a quality product that I would sell to you, as opposed to this is what you found on Amazon, and yeah, it's cheaper, but is it actually going to be good in your business?
Yeah, there's been a lot of that. People are a little bit more patient, I think, these days of getting substitutes. I grew up in the grocery business, and walking down a grocery store these days gives me a heart attack from seeing all the holes in the shelf, because I used to get screamed at all the time. But that's fantastic. One more question for both of you. Celicia, can you share any support that you've gotten from the SBA or any of the resource partners that in the area?
Well, I have to tell you that I was just talking about this with my wife recently, and here's the bottom line. It's LGBTQ and allies. I mean, I have the same thing at my church. I have the same thing in society. It is a numbers game. There's, you can say, there's about 10% of, gay people in the world, but, then there's the other 90%. And we absolutely have to have the support of our allies. We can be all rainbow flag waving, yay, 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 all day long, but unless we have the support of our fellows, then we will never succeed. And that's just the truth. And I am really heartened and encouraged, because I'm seeing a real shift of support for people who are supportive of LGBTQ folks, and that is encouraging to me. I mean, even like a YouTube video or a TikTok video the other day of, somebody got into a cab or an Uber or something, and, said some, disparaging, something about gay people. And the guy said, I'm sorry, what did you say? Get out of my car. I'm not taking you. He wasn't gay himself, but he said, but I don't have to put up with this. And, you can walk. And, it is having the support of allies that will make us successful, because I cannot do it alone. And that is the most important thing, is that I need your help. And you already have mine.
It's fantastic. Thank you. Earl, how about you?
I have used the SBA. And it's funny, so I'll follow up Celicia's comment. They really didn't care, which was great when I went in there and said, so that's one of the things I don't really, I am wearing it on my collar, but I don't really wear it on my sleeve. I am a business owner first. And second, I am who I am. And so when you go to someone and you talk to the SBA and, you share who you are, and they don't, they're not like, oh, you got to go, or, this is not something we can do. That's really great for you and for your business. I have used the SBA. I actually got a mentor from the SBA, and I had the mentor look over my business plan that we did in Jax Bridges. But actually the SBA pointed me to Jax Bridges, so that was very exciting as well.
That's great to hear, and it's we're all in this together. We're all here to help, and if we can point you, if one of our partners can help you, I think all of us would point you to the other partner. And I understand Jax Bridges. I went through Jax Bridges many years ago, so it's great that we're all being collaborative here. And I see Natalie's back, and Natalie, back over to you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. That was so great. Celicia, Earl, all of that was great information. And I'm sure that the participants that have joined us for this event are glad that they clicked that button to join us, other than clicking that button to register for the event. And I just like to thank everyone again for the support. Our small business owners, Earl Kelly, Celicia Young Jones, thank you. When we reached out, you guys said yes. Jackie with the Women's Business Center, when me and Rosalind talked to you about this during another event, and you jumped on board and agreed to it, and we collaborated and got it done. Thank you again. Rosalind, my co-worker, Sam with SCORE, you know, when I reached out to say, hey, this is what we're doing. Jackie did the invite to the Tampa Bay Women's Business Center, and everybody agreed to it. Avia, the Deputy District Director with South Florida. So, you know, it takes teamwork to do it. I'm excited how the event turned out. And for those of you that are online and was with us to hear all this great information, thank you again for attending. Hopefully the information that you heard is going to help you to start that business, to get out that planning stage and just, you know, now decide who you want to work with, or the information is going to help you to take that business to the next level, whether it's financing or contracting, or just to begin to plan for, you know, disaster, you know, just to have things in place. Again, I'm Natalie, and I'm with the North Florida District Office, and this event was a collaboration with North Florida and South Florida. So those of you that, you know, have joined us, if you do not fall in the North Florida area, because we cover the Panhandle to Orlando, and everything outside of that will fall up under the South Florida District Office. So if you want to connect with your local SBA district office or the resource partners that are located in your area, please visit the national website, sba.gov, plug in your zip, and you will get attached to your local SBA district office and find your local resource partners. Again, I'm excited about the event. I want to turn the mic over to Jackie with the Jacksonville Women's Business Center for her to give, you know, some key takeaways also.
Thank you. No, thank you so much. Thank you, Celicia and Earl and Sam. And, you know, thank you so much for having this conversation and for allowing us the platform to do so. This was the first time we were able to host this webinar in celebration of Pride Month. And it's something that is near and dear to my heart. And I want to make sure that we're, you know, just like you said, being an ally and helping, being a part of that conversation. So thank you. And I know that we have Roz in here, and I do see that there was one question in the Q&A from, I think, early on that I want to just kind of get to, just in case P. Chandler is still on the line, but it was about applying for funding for the SSBCI, State Small Business Credit Initiative. Where should you apply? They said it's next to impossible to find information or speak with somebody.
Hello. Well, I'm not familiar with that program because, as he stated, it's a state program. Right. So more than likely, it would be. Let me give you my email address.
Okay.
My email address is Rosalind, ROSALIND.Bryant, BRYANT @SBA.gov. Again, that's Rosalind.Bryant @SBA.gov. If you would, please send me an email in reference to that, and I will find out that information for you. I will do all the running around and finding out who is the connect person for that, and then I will get back with you with that. But as far as on the SBA side, it's not right now. That's something that is not us, but it's more on a state level. But I'll find out that information for you if you send me an email in reference to it.
Perfect. Thank you. And does anybody else, this is a good time too, if anybody has any questions for our speakers today, or for the Women's Business Centers or SBA Network, this is a good time to put those in the chat. We'll stay for just 2 more minutes to kind of get those questions. I will stop recording.